That's the third time hearing that song. I can't get through it without this. It is tears of just joy and gratitude for being alive, you know? What a gift it is to be alive, to have these teachings to help us awaken to who we really are. You know, we're really gifted. You know that? Do you feel that? That sense of presence. We're getting older, but that which is ageless in us and timeless in us is just feel like I'm just starting to get in touch with it. Like it's just beginning to reveal itself through. That's beautiful. That's the great gift. Today's talk, I'm going to blow my nose. Hold on for a moment. Today's talk is called, I'll put the mic back on. Today's talk is called From Me-ing-ness to Be-ing-ness. It's real important to be in touch with our beingness, especially when we're dealing with our me-ing-ness, because if we don't, we can get mean. From beingness to me-ing-ness to awakening to who we are, and allowing the dance of life to work through us, This particular series of talks is coming from Life Beyond Belief. Everyday living is spiritual practice by this wonderful movement of energy called Alice Gardner. And I want to start with our lesson summation. George, wouldn't mind putting that up for me? I'm going to take a few points out of this. Awakening is simply the direct perception of reality without any filters getting in the way. No projections, no beliefs, no interpretations. Awakening is not a one-time discovery, but rather an endless rediscovery, a continual deepening into this radiant aliveness that we are and have always been. There's no end to it. No end to it. Next one, please. The hope for spiritual enlightenment is usually the hope of avoiding what we are, the hope of avoiding the pains and confusions of me-ing-ness, of existence. But enlightenment is the realization you cannot avoid them. You won't. It isn't one or the other. It is both. It is both. Before enlightenment, I used to get depressed. After enlightenment, I continue to be depressed. You don't make a goal out of relaxation and sensitivity. If one is tense, one simply observes one's tension. You'll never understand yourself if you seek to change yourself. Please take it off now. That self that we made up is not the level of consciousness from which we can change it. It doesn't change. It has its purpose. It is your personality, what she calls your mind-made self. It is neither bad nor good. It is just the container of the personality that we all exist in for now. We all get a beginning time. I was born in 1950. There's a little dash, and when I go out, who knows? When the visa gets pulled, we do not know. What we get is this moment in time to live life through our personality. Nothing wrong with our mind-made self, but we can't let it work on its own. So our author in this book, Alice Gardner, about awakening beyond beliefs, had an awakening where her me-ing-ness, her personality, her beliefs, her interpretations were for a moment suspended, and she got to experience her radiant core self that exists in all of us. The Atman, the Christ consciousness, our Buddha nature, the I am that I am. She experienced that. It didn't mean that her mind-made self, her ego, her me-ing-ness went anywhere. It was still very active. Oh, it doesn't go away. Heavens no. The E will not go that easily. We all know this. You have to deal with that part of yourself. However, when it stays in its proper role as a servant to the true self, then it can help you in your awakening and no longer be bothersome. You give it another function and role to play. It's still just as busy, but it's not taking you away from your intended purpose to awaken to who you are, your beingness. That's what we're here to uncover and unfold, and let it be the radiating force and center in our lives. The whole book and this whole chapter is about that. She talks about her own personal experience of that, and then talks about how it evolves over time and how she's now experiencing that same awakening, but through the very difficult ups and downs that come through living in a body, dealing with the depression or the anger or the sadness that still exists. It's still there. But you're more than your anger. I'm more than my depression. I'm more than just my sadness. I am existence, consciousness, and bliss. That's the greater energy through which your awakening propels you to keep moving forward. So in the book, in this chapter we're on now, we're in chapter 4, she talks about what she calls the great cleanup process that happens when you pour all of these truths in the container of the personality. The chapter is called Living from Awakeness in a World of Duality, which I call Living from Oneness in a World of Separation. This is what happens when you take these wonderful truths that you get so excited about, the great books you read, the workshops, the oneness blessings, the Course in Miracles. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. I can't believe it. I just love this stuff. And what happens is that we go through a process of what Emily Cady, a unity thinker, in Lessons in Truth. By the way, anybody, do you know Lessons in Truth? Have you read? You should read Lessons in Truth. It's considered one of the basic textbooks in unity. I'm sure it's still in print somewhere. It's a very old book, but it's a foundational practice. And in it, there's a chapter called Chemicalization. And Emily Cady, the last chapter in the book, she talks about what happens when, well, your bucket of belief system, by the way, we all have our own BS, yes? You have a belief system. Everybody believes in something, and they believe very strongly in what they believe in. We all have a bucket of BS that we run around with. Everyone does. So when you meet anyone, just know you're meeting a bunch of beliefs that people really think are true. So do I need to fight with someone's belief system? Am my 10-minute conversation with this person really going to change their fundamental belief system? Do I need to battle with someone about what they believe in? No, I don't. It won't work. You're not going to change them. You're just going to drain yourself dry trying to change someone's belief system. Work on your own belief system. It's the best thing you can do. Whew. You don't need a whole bunch more people who practice Buddhism. We need more Buddhists. We don't need more people following Jesus. We need more awakened Christs in the world. Jesus, that's what we need. So, in this chapter, she says that we are connected to, and you know this is my wellspring of love. I didn't move it this time either. You're connected to an infinite source that just loves you. And you have a valve that allows you to pour forth blessings into your life. You can have it as open or as closed as you want. You can never shut it off completely. You can't. And this connection are the wonderful truths that flow into what's called your belief system. And let's pretend that your belief system is filled with a lot of mud in this here bucket. So if you take these new positive affirmations and the Course in Miracle lessons and all this work you're doing on yourself and the meditating, and you pour it into a bucket filled with mud, what happens? The mud spills out. It percolates, it comes up. This is the truth that gets poured into the bucket of your belief system. And when that happens, stuff starts to come up, right? And spill over. Seek and ye shall find, knock and the door shall open, and what will come in is trouble. That's from the Gospel of Thomas. Trouble, because your belief system will be shaken up. Please understand, it'll feel like you're losing yourself. You are! Congratulations, you're falling apart. Welcome to the club. You're supposed to be. When your belief system is shaken up, when you begin to pour these truths into the bucket of your old pile of mud and stuff is going to come up. In Katie's book, it's called Chemicalization. And it's really interesting. When that book came out, there were people who didn't want that chapter to remain in the book, Lessons in Truth. They felt it was just too negative. So they took the chapter out for a bunch of rewrites, of republishing the book. And then what happened was people who were studying these truths were having these incredibly cathartic awakenings, and then they were trying to deal with their everyday life, and all this stuff was coming up, and they had nowhere to deal with it. So they put the chapter of chemicalization back in the book. It turned out it wasn't the least important, it was the most important chapter, because the truth is you'll be about this kind of business your whole life. You'll always be having to deal with what comes up. Because you're not only dealing with the mud and the stuff caked on the bottom from the beginning of your lifetime, you're dealing with lifetimes worth of stuff that gets caked on the bottom of your own thought system. We all have those things. And many of those things were placed in the bucket when we were very young and really impressionable, when we had no filters. No way of getting anything out of our consciousness. Everything that came in, we just took on. A story I didn't share at the first service. I remember being 5 years old, and my mother in our home in New Rochelle waking me up in the middle of the night and saying, Richard, wake up. Your dad has a gun, and he's going to kill us all. We have to get out of here. I found myself in the back seat of a little yellow Volkswagen with two sisters shaking like leaves, on our way to Aunt Thelma's house in Brooklyn. We never went back to that house again. That was something that was stuck, and my dad wasn't wrong or right. He was doing the best that he could. But that got placed in the bucket of my belief system. It's there. So when stuff comes up, you need help to be able to deal with it. Yes? You're not alone when those things that are difficult come up. You're not alone when your me-ing-ness comes bubbling to the surface. That's when you have other friends who are on the path with you that can help you waken up to who you are. Otherwise, if you don't deal with the me-ing-ness when it comes bubbling over, you end up getting mean and you get angry. Because people get crazy about their belief systems, don't they? And when you don't have an open-ended belief system that allows the new truth to be poured into it, you become sure that your way of thinking is the only way. This is my belief system. This is what I believe, and you will believe in this, or you'll go to a place of eternal punishment, and I'll help you get there. Belief systems on this planet are extremely dangerous. They are a force for good, but they're also a force for evil. So when you meet a belief system that's stuck, don't fight your way to try to change that. You just deal with the one thing you can deal with, and that's your own awareness of truth. Allow the energy of the ever-new, precious spirit to pour into the container of your energy. And allow those things that are no longer a part of you just to let them go. And when big, chunky, difficult stuff come up, then ask the divine in you to help you. Ask the presence in you. I can't deal with this big chunk that's come up on my own. I need help. And in Oneness University, they said to us that when that happens, when the difficult stuff comes up, as it's supposed to, as it's meant to, when you're doing the authentic work, when it comes up, ask the divine your personal experience of that to help you. For some, it's Jesus. For some, it's the Buddha. For some, it's Mother Mary. For some, it's Kuan Yin. Ask that presence and power to help you. I was up last night with some pain stuff. I don't want to bore you anymore, talking about tossing, turning, till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I asked the divine, the presence, I like either Amma Bhagwan or Jesus, to help me, to please take this from me. And I thought I was still awake, but I fell deep into a sleep. And all of a sudden, of all people, my mother shows up in a pickup truck. Rhoda in a pickup truck. Those of you who know Rhoda don't do pickup trucks. She doesn't do it. It was my mother in a pickup truck. And I went, Mom, what are you doing here? She said, I'm here to help you. Get in. I said, where'd you get this truck? She said, I got it just for you. We drove off together, and I woke up 5 hours later, having fallen into a deep sleep. It came in the presence of all people, Rhoda, Thelma, Joseph. That's the way the divine can help you. Call upon that presence and power. It will be there for you in the form that you need it. It will be very personal to what your needs are. When your belief system is open and you're not stuck, it keeps flowing in and flowing out. The truth that was true yesterday will not be the truth that will feed you today. It's interesting, even in unity, we have people who are called fundamental unitics. They believe that unity has a certain belief structure and system. It's not this Course in Miracles stuff. It's not this Diksha stuff. It's not this Vipassana meditation or this hands-on healing. No. It's what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore taught. And they want to pull back. They They want to shut the door to illumination. But Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said something different. He said, I reserve the right, even though I've got a belief system called Unity, to change my mind. The truth I adhere to today may not be the truth I adhere to tomorrow. Therefore, let it be the spirit of the law that rules my time here, not the letter of the law. The flowing energy of spirit moving through us. It's not the Unity monument to Charles and Myrtle. It's called the Unity movement. Movement of energy, giving you what you need in the moment when you need it. It can even turn out to be Rhoda in a pickup truck. Do you hear what I'm saying? It can come in any different way you need it to come in. It will join you in your life right where you are. So your beingness and your me-ing-ness, your personality and your divine self begin to work together. And then you notice when you're getting towards meanness. Meanness is always a signal that you are worshiping me, myself, and I-ness. You are, always. That's where the problem is. You're attached to some kind of position. So I'm playing cards with Miss Enlightened One, who got back from India. And we're playing a game called Spite and Malice. Maureen comes from a family of 11. She's the oldest. She's played games her whole life. She's a great game player. She's a card player. It's hard to beat her. You've got to be really good. And certainly, I never played games at all, although I'm playing the game of life with her. And I'm starting to play cards just to keep my memory alive. Anybody relate to that? Play cards, get something going so I can keep this alive in my brain. And so we're playing Spite and Malice. And we're playing, and she, I'm trying to remember beingness, oh, me-ing-ness, of course, but, be careful. So we're playing, and she wins 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. The week goes on, 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, 15 games. I stand up at the end of the game and go, I'm not playing anymore. I'm tired of losing to you. I said, tomorrow, we are going to play my game. I'm good at sequence. I can win 50% of the time sequence. So the next day, we're sitting down there, and I'm trying to remember, I might lose this game, but there's a chance I might win. So we're playing sequence. And sequence, if you don't know the game, a couple of letters get lined up, or should I say, decks of cards and different suits, and then you have 1 left, and then you get a sequence, and those who get 2 sequences win the game. So I've gotten my first sequence really fast. I'm getting ready to win. Okay, I'm playing, I'm watching, oh, don't get too mean at being. Yes, she could change, she's very quick, she can win quickly. So we're playing the game, and she gets one of her sequences. Oh, there we are now, and then we get to both have 1 more card that's necessary to win. And so at that, we're waiting, because it could be any one of us. We both have 3 moves that would be perfect, and different cards come out, and then I got the card, and I won. I put it down. I won, and so what? 20 seconds after I leave the card game, I don't remember whether I lost or won or what we were even doing 15 minutes ago, let alone making a big stink about it. But I won, so what? I wake up to meditate the next morning, and I said, you know what? I've got this feeling that she let me win. I know her so well that I can spot looks on her face, and my mind remembered the look on her face when I thought I was winning. She sort of put her cards together, and the game was all put away. So I said to her when she woke up, did you let me win that game? She goes, well, you just needed a win. And I wanted you to win. And I said, don't do that. I didn't win. I want to learn how to lose like a winner. Like the Carl song goes, that doesn't help me. I don't care about the deck of cards I was handed. I want to go for the big enlightenment here. Don't do that. Let me win or lose and learn how to not make a big deal about it. That's what I'm in this for. Please, that's what I'm here for. I don't want you to stack the cards in my favor. I want you to play a real game with me. And if I lose, I want to learn how to look at my personality and laugh at the idea of winning and losing, meaning anything anyway. And I certainly don't want to get mean over a deck of cards, because life will keep handing you a deck of cards that one day will give you what you want, and you'll win, and sometimes it'll show up where you'll lose. What is that in you that never loses and never wins? That is what I want in my life. Don't you? That's what we're here for. That's the real prize of awakening. So this particular week, while you're dealing with your stuff, keep your practice fresh and new. The insights that you had years ago when you were sitting on top of the mountaintop at Sedona, on Bell Rock, and you felt all your chakras opened up, you can't have that again. You can't have what you had the day after you got back from Oneness University, or what happens sometimes when you get a blessing. It is the mana of today. Today's realization has 100 times more power to help you than anything you've experienced yesterday. So it's fresh and it's brand new every single day. Every single day you ask for the blessing of today to fill up your belief system with the truth of who you are. And by the way, the mud never stops getting added to the bucket of your belief system. Wrong! It'll continue. Just because the water's clear now doesn't mean you won't wake up tomorrow morning and go, how did that get all there again? Any more than you can take a shower once a week and be done with it, right? You get dirty every night. Why is that? I felt so clean and pure, and now I wake up and I'm all itchy and I'm dirty. You have to take a shower when? Every single day. That's why I still have work. You have to come back here all the time to be showered with these truths. Or you'll get stuck. You will get stuck over and over and over again. The spirit of the law, of the truth, sets you free. But it's ever-flowing, refreshing new waters. It isn't what happened yesterday, it's what's happening today that matters. There are certain techniques that will help you stay connected to that. But the way in which it will manifest is true for what you need today, not yesterday. Today. This is that day. So let's put the lesson summation up and I'll stop screaming at you. The first statement is, and I love this, man's mind stretched to a new idea never goes back to its original dimensions. Do you love that? That's stretching. I love that, stretching to a new idea. And even though it seems like it's shutting back down again, it's not. Once you open yourself up to this, I'm sorry, you're doomed. You'll never be able to step away from it again, even though it'll look like you are. Awakening is simply the direct perception of reality without filters getting in the way. No projections, no beliefs, no interpretations. Awakening is not a one-time discovery, but rather an endless rediscovery, a continual deepening into this radiant aliveness that we are and have always been. That's what we're connected to. And so now for the last one, the next one, I want to go to the bottom one. Remember, today's realization of truth has 100 times more power to help us than any experience we may have had in the past. Make it fresh, make it new today, and stand underneath the hose of blessing. And when you receive it for yourself, you can then spray and wash everybody else with your awakening. And when you wake up one morning and you got all this mud caked on your brain from who knows what your mind was doing last night, you just take yourself and go underneath that shower and you wash that mud right out of your head, right? I'm gonna wash that mud, right? And send it on its way, where down go your troubles down the drain. And you do it every single day. That is our practice. That is why we're here. That is our awakening. When our beingness infuses our me-ing-ness, all heaven breaks loose on earth. And that's the assignment everyone here signed up for. Thank you for saying yes. Amen.